I was 12 when I realised my skin was darker than hers, not different. Darker, and somehow in our house that became my fault. "Elena, you're burning again," my mother's voice carried from the kitchen where she stood arranging strawberries on a plate, each one perfect and identical. "Why don't you stay inside today? Your sister needs to get some sun." Lily was already outside, stretched across the lounge chair like a catalogue model, wearing the white bikini that made her look like summer itself. The sunscreen bottle sat beside her, half empty, the expensive kind with the French label that Dad ordered special every year. I stood at the screen door, watching her apply it in smooth, even strokes. She never burned. Her skin turned gold while mine turned red, then brown, then something my mother called uneven. "Can I use some?" I asked, stepping onto the patio. Lily's eyes didn't open. "I need it for reapplication. Mom said you should use the drugstore kind." There was no drugstore kind. There was her bottle, and there was nothing. I learned to time my outside hours around cloud cover. I learned which trees provided the best shade at our neighbourhood pool. I learned to wear long sleeves in July while Lily glowed beside me in tank tops, collecting compliments like seashells. "Your sister has such beautiful skin," the neighbours would say. "Elena tans so easily," my mother would respond, as if easy and beautiful were opposites. The summers blurred together in a haze of heat and exclusion. Each year, the same ritual. Dad would order the French sunscreen in bulk, 3 bottles at a time. Each year, Lily would go through them all by August while I learned new strategies for staying covered. I tried asking Dad once, when he was alone in his study, away from Mum's opinions. "Could you maybe order 1 bottle for me too?" He looked up from his computer, confused as if I'd asked for something extravagant. "Isn't your mother handling that?" "She said Lily needs them." "Well, your sister has sensitive skin. You're lucky. You don't burn as badly." I did burn. My shoulders bore the scars of a dozen summers, the peeling and the pain. But I'd learned not to complain where anyone could hear me. Complaining made me difficult, made me ungrateful, made me the problem. I was 13 when Mrs. Patterson next door gave me a bottle of her sunscreen, the one she used for gardening. "I noticed you're always in long sleeves," she said kindly. "This might help." It was generic, SPF 30, probably from a bargain store. But it was mine. I hid it in my room, used it sparingly, made it last the entire summer. When Lily found it in September, she wrinkled her nose. "God, Elena, this is cheap stuff. It probably doesn't even work." She was right. I'd still burned. But I'd had something, at least. Something that was supposed to be mine. I was 15 when Derek Martinez sat next to me in biology. He was new, from California, with dark hair and darker eyes. That didn't look past me to find Lily. "You have interesting freckles," he said, pointing to the constellation across my nose, "like you've actually lived in the sun." Something in my chest unknotted. We studied together through fall and winter. He talked about tide pools and kelp forests, about UC schools and marine research. He made me laugh in the library when we were supposed to be silent. He texted me good morning before I'd even opened my eyes. "Derek seems nice," my mother said at dinner one night in March. "Though, Lily, didn't you say he was in your English class?" Lily looked up from her phone, suddenly interested. "Oh, him? Yeah, he's cute. I might ask him to homecoming." "You have options," my mother continued, passing Lily the better cut of chicken as always. "Elena, you should focus on your studies. College applications are coming up." I looked at my plate, at the smaller piece of meat, the fewer vegetables, the same distribution I'd seen my entire life. "Derek and I are just friends," I said quietly. "Good," my mother said. "You should keep it that way. You're not ready for distractions." But Lily was. Lily, who had never mentioned Derek before that dinner, suddenly needed to borrow my biology notes to help her understand what they were reading in English. Suddenly started showing up to his track practices. Suddenly appeared in his Instagram photos. I watched it happen in real time. watched him respond to her attention, to her effortless beauty, to the way she made everything look easy. "I'm sorry," he said to me one day in April. "I don't know what happened. She's really into me, and I thought you said we were just friends." "We are," I said, my voice steady even as something cracked inside me. "It's fine." "You sure?" "I'm sure." I wasn't sure. I was 16 when I spent my entire savings on my own sunscreen. The good kind, SPF 50, broad spectrum from the same company that made Lily's French bottles. I kept it in my backpack, applied it every morning before school, every 2 hours after. Paranoid much? Lily laughed when she saw me putting it on before gym class. It's not even that sunny. But it worked. My skin stayed lighter that summer, more even. The freckles Derek had once called interesting stayed visible without the angry red beneath them. I felt something like hope. Then I noticed the bottle emptying faster than it should. I'd used maybe a quarter. By July, it was 2/3 gone. I found it in Lily's beach bag when she asked me to grab her sunglasses from her room. My bottle. My label with my name still visible in permanent marker, half scratched off. "Oh, I ran out," she said when I confronted her, not even looking up from her phone. "I figured you wouldn't mind sharing." "I do mind. I paid for this." "Elena, don't be dramatic." My mother appeared in the doorway, always appearing when Lily needed her. "It's just sunscreen. Family shares." "She has her own, the expensive kind. And she's generous enough to share that too, when you ask nicely." My mother's expression hardened into the look I knew too well. "Stop being selfish. It doesn't suit you." I bought another bottle. Hid it better this time in a locked drawer in my desk. It disappeared anyway. Found it again in Lily's car, casually tossed in the cup holder. "You went through my locked drawer?" "Oh, please, the lock is easy to pick. I just needed some for the lake." "Buy your own." "Why? You buy the same kind Dad gets me. We might as well share." "We're not sharing. You're taking." "God, Elena, why are you being such a bitch about sunscreen?" My mother, overhearing. "Elena, apologise to your sister." "For what?" "For being unreasonable." I bought another bottle. And another. Each one disappeared into Lily's routine like water into sand. Each disappearance confirmed what I'd always known. Nothing in this house was truly mine. Derek and I stayed friendly through junior year, in that painful way where you smile at someone in the halls and remember when they used to text you goodnight. He and Lily dated on and off, breaking up dramatically and reuniting at parties I wasn't invited to. "Your parents seem to favour your sister," he said once, carefully, after a particularly painful family dinner where Lily received a standing ovation for making the volleyball team, while my 4.0 GPA went unmentioned. "It's complicated," I said, because I didn't have words for it yet. "No," he said, "it's simple." "They're wrong. You're brilliant and they can't see it." I wanted to believe him, but brilliance without witness is just silence. I was 17 when I got into Berkeley. Full scholarship, marine biology program. The acceptance letter arrived on a Wednesday, and I read it 3 times before I could breathe. "California," my mother said, holding the letter like it was contaminated. "So far away." "It's a full ride, Mum. It's perfect. It's everything I've worked for." "Lily will be lonely without you." Lily, who was already planning her gap year in Europe on Dad's credit card. Lily, who hadn't taken the SAT seriously because she didn't have to, because mediocrity with beauty was acceptable in ways excellence without it wasn't. "She'll be fine," I said. "You're being selfish again, Elena." My mother set down the letter on the kitchen counter, dismissive. "Your father and I think you should stay local. State University has a perfectly good biology program." "Not like Berkeley. Berkeley is expensive. It's a full scholarship. It costs you nothing." "It costs us our daughter." Her voice rose. "It costs Lily, her sister. It costs to this family its stability. You're always thinking about yourself. I'm thinking about my future. Your future is here with your family. You're not going to California. The words landed like a physical blow, not a suggestion, a command. I'm 18 in 2 months. You can't stop me. We can refuse to support you. No money for travel home. No emergency funds. Nothing. I don't need your money. That's what the scholarship means. You'll need us eventually, and we won't be there if you do this. I looked at my father, sitting silent at the table, reading the newspaper like this conversation wasn't happening, like it had never happened. Dad? He didn't look up. Your mother knows what's best for the family. I went anyway, signed the acceptance, arranged the loans for living expenses my scholarship didn't cover, packed my life into 2 suitcases, sold my car to pay for the flight and first month's rent. Derek, now definitively with Lily, offered to drive me to the airport. I don't think that's appropriate, I said. I want to help, for old times' sake. The old times where you dated me, or the old times where you left me for my sister? He flinched. That's not fair. No, I agreed, but it's accurate. I took a taxi. My mother didn't come out of her room to say goodbye. My father handed me $200 and told me to be careful. Lily was at the beach. She texted me before takeoff. Have fun abandoning us. I turned off my phone and watched my hometown disappear beneath clouds. California was everything I'd hoped for and nothing I was prepared for. The campus sprawled with opportunity. The ocean beckoned with mysteries. The other students talked about their supportive families, their care packages, their parents visiting for homecoming. I had my scholarship, my work-study job at the library, my tiny shared apartment 40 minutes from campus, my phone that rarely rang. My mother called 90 times that first week. I answered twice. You've ruined everything, she said. Do you know how embarrassing this is? Everyone asking about you, and we have to say you just left. I'm at college, Mum. People are supposed to leave for college. Not like this. Not by abandoning your family. Lily cries every night. She misses her sister. Lily has barely spoken to me in 2 years. That's because you made everything so difficult. You were always so jealous of her. I wasn't jealous. I was neglected. How dare you? Her voice went cold. After everything we've done for you, after all the opportunities we gave you. You gave Lily opportunities. You gave me criticism. You're being dramatic. This is exactly why you needed to stay home. You're too immature to be alone. Then it's good I'm learning. She called less after that, once a month, then once every few months. The conversations got shorter, colder, more transactional. Derek called sometimes too in the beginning. Just checking in, seeing how you're doing. Lily wanted me to make sure you are okay. Tell Lily she can call me herself. She never did. I was 18, then 19. I studied hard, worked harder. I joined research labs, published my first paper as an undergraduate co-author, networked with professors who saw potential in me. I learned to fill my own emptiness with achievement, with progress, with the tangible proof that I was worth something. I dated a few times, brief casual things that ended when they wanted more than I could give. I'd learned to protect what little I had, learned that vulnerability was dangerous, learned that people who said they saw you could stop seeing you the moment someone shinier appeared. It was April of my sophomore year when Derek called with news. Lily and I are engaged. I was in the library, surrounded by marine biology textbooks, preparing for finals. The words didn't land immediately. Congratulations, I said. We're getting married in June, back home. She wants you to be a bridesmaid. I have research commitments in June. Elena, come on. It's her wedding. And she has plenty of friends who actually like her. Use one of them. She's your sister. She's a person who shares my DNA. That's not the same thing. When did you get so cold? Around the time everyone expected me to light myself on fire to keep her warm. I closed my textbook. Tell her congratulations from me. Send pictures if you want, but I'm not coming. Your parents will be devastated. They've been disappointed in me since I was born. This is consistent. I didn't go to the wedding. Saw the photos on Facebook. Lily in a white dress that probably cost more than my entire year's rent. My mother crying happy tears. My father proud and present. Derek looking nervous and young. The caption on Lily's post, "Perfect day with my perfect family. Some people are too selfish to share in joy." The comments were sympathetic. Poor Lily. Such a shame her sister couldn't be there. Family is everything. I unliked her page and went back to my research. I was 19, almost 20, when I stopped sleeping properly. The insomnia crept in slowly, then all at once. I'd lie awake thinking about tides and current patterns and research papers, about my empty bank account and the loans accumulating interest, about the fact that I hadn't spoken to anyone who loved me in months. Did anyone love me? The campus therapist prescribed sleeping pills. "Just to reset your rhythm," she said, "use them sparingly." I used them nightly, then twice nightly. Then I stopped counting. My roommate graduated and moved out. I couldn't afford the apartment alone, moved into a cheaper studio in a worse neighbourhood. The walls were thin. I could hear other people living, fighting, laughing, existing with volume and presence. I existed quietly, went to class, went to the lab, went home, took pills, slept or didn't sleep. Derek texted in November. "Lily's pregnant. You're going to be an aunt." I stared at the message for 10 minutes, tried to feel something, felt nothing. "That's wonderful," I typed back, "wishing you both the best." My mother called an hour later. "Your sister has news?" "I heard. You could sound more excited." "I am happy for her." "You don't sound happy. You sound dead, inside." Maybe I was. "I'm just tired, Mom. Finals week." "Always about you, isn't it? Your sister is creating life and you're worried about exams." "I'm not worried. I'm just tired." "Come home for Christmas. Meet your nephew." "I can't afford the flight." "That's your choice. You chose California. You chose this." I spent Christmas alone in my studio apartment, eating ramen and watching the ocean through my tiny window. The pills sat on my nightstand, a full bottle. The therapist had refilled them without question. I wondered what it would feel like to just stop, to not have to work this hard to justify my existence, to not have to prove every single day that I deserved space in the world. I was tired of proving. I was tired. New Year's came. I didn't celebrate. Another semester started. I dragged myself through classes, through research, through the mechanics of being alive. My grades slipped. Nothing dramatic, B's instead of A's, but enough that my advisor noticed. "Elena, is everything okay?" "Fine, just tired." "You look exhausted. Are you taking care of yourself?" Was I? I couldn't remember my last real meal, my last conversation that wasn't transactional, my last moment of feeling like a person instead of a collection of obligations. I'm okay," I said. I wasn't okay. It was a Tuesday in February. Cold for California, grey and damp. My roommate, new, a transfer student I barely knew, had gone home for the week. The apartment was silent. I sat on my bed looking at the pill bottle. The label swam in my vision. Take one as needed for sleep. Do not exceed recommended dosage. I'd exceeded the dosage for months. What was one more excess? I thought about Lily, pregnant and golden, creating life with Derek, creating the family I'd never have. I thought about my mother, who'd probably feel relief more than grief. One less disappointment to manage. I thought about my father's silence, which was its own kind of verdict. I thought about sunscreen, about how stupid it was that sunscreen had become the symbol of everything I'd never had. Protection, care, the simple assumption that I deserved to be shielded. I'd spent my whole life burning. Maybe it was time to stop. I opened the bottle, poured the pills into my palm. They were small, white, innocent looking, 30 of them. Enough. The ocean outside my window was dark and endless. I'd studied marine biology to understand it, to be part of it, to find something larger than myself that made sense. But I still didn't understand how to be a person who mattered. I took the pills, one by one, swallowed them with water, felt nothing but resignation. The last thought I had was how quiet it was, how finally, blessedly quiet. Then nothing, then everything. I opened my eyes to my childhood ceiling. The glow in the dark stars I'd stuck up when I was 9, arranged in constellations I copied from library books. The water stain in the corner that looked like a bird in flight. My phone was pink. My old pink phone from middle school. The screen said June 14th. But the year was wrong. 5 years wrong. I sat up slowly. My heart beat in a rhythm that was too calm for confusion, too knowing for fear. My hands were small, uncalloused. The scar on my right palm from sophomore year when I'd cut it on a broken beaker, gone. Not yet happened. The sunburn I'd gotten yesterday, not there. Because yesterday hadn't happened. Because I was 12 years old. I walked to the mirror on shaking legs, saw my 12-year-old face looking back. Rounder cheeks, shorter hair, eyes that still held something like hope, not yet beaten into wariness. Downstairs, my mother's voice. "Elena, breakfast, don't make us wait." The sound pierced through me. I knew that voice, knew the edge in it, the impatience, the assumption that I would comply. I knew everything. Every summer, every stolen bottle of sunscreen, every casual cruelty, every moment of being unseen, every choice that had led to that studio apartment, those pills, that terrible quiet. And I knew something else. I didn't have to do it again. "Elena!" My mother's voice, sharper now. "Now!" I went downstairs in my pajamas, taking my time. Each step felt different, lighter, like I was walking towards something instead of away. Lily sat at the table, already dressed for summer in a turquoise tank top that made her eyes look like the Caribbean. The sunscreen bottle sat next to her plate, massive and expensive, the French label catching the light. "Finally," my mother said, not looking up from her coffee. "We're going to the pool today. Your sister needs to work on her tan." I looked at the scene, saw it with 20 years of hindsight compressed into 12-year-old vision. Saw the power dynamics, the casual exclusion, the established patterns that would define the next 7 years if I let them. "I'm not going," I said. The kitchen went still. My mother's coffee cup paused halfway to her lips. Lily's head snapped up from her phone. My father, hidden behind the newspaper, lowered it slightly. "Excuse me?" my mother said. "I'm staying inside. I want to read." "Elena, it's summer. You need fresh air and exercise." "I get sunburned easily. I'm going to stay inside where I'm comfortable." Something flickered in my mother's eyes. Confusion, maybe calculation. She'd been prepared for begging, maybe for compliance, certainly for the usual pattern of me wanting something and learning to do without. Not refusal, not calm, simple refusal. Your sister shouldn't have to go alone. Dad can go with her. My father rustled his newspaper. "I have work." "Then she can go alone. She's 12. The pool is 2 blocks away. She's capable." Lily looked at me like I'd started speaking another language. "You love the pool?" "No," I said, meeting her eyes with a clarity that made her blink. "You love the pool. I tolerate it because I'm not given another option, but I'm choosing a different option today." "This is ridiculous." My mother set down her cup with force. "You're going. That's final." No, I said, I'm not. Elena, you can't make me. You can tell me I'm selfish. You can be disappointed. You can be angry. But you can't make me go somewhere I don't want to go and get sunburned for no reason, except that Lily wants company. The silence was enormous. Go to your room, my mother finally said. Gladly, I said, and went. I heard their voices rise in discussion behind me. Confusion, anger, my father's rare contribution of, just let her read. My mother's sharp response, Lily's whining about being alone. I closed my door and locked it. Through the window, I watched them eventually leave. Lily, my mother, the French sunscreen safely in their beach bag. My father stayed home, disappeared into his study. The house was quiet. I sat on my bed and breathed, felt my 12-year-old lungs expand with air that tasted like possibility, felt my skin cool and unburned mine. I'd done it. The first divergence, the first choice that was different. It felt like victory. That summer, I didn't burn once. I stayed inside in the air conditioning, reading every book I could find about marine biology, about California universities, about scholarships for students who needed them. I learned to use the library computer, researching things 12-year-olds shouldn't have to know yet. Financial aid, emancipation laws, youth bank accounts. I was preparing. When Lily came home each day, golden and glowing, she'd find me reading. Always reading. You're so pale, she said once, comparing our arms. It's kind of sad. I'm protected, I said, not looking up. There's a difference. From what? From everything. She didn't understand. She wasn't supposed to. The summer ended, school started. I threw myself into academics with a focus that surprised my teachers and worried my mother. You need balance, she'd say. You need friends. You need to be normal. I am normal, I'd reply. I'm just focused. I was 13 when I bought my first bottle of sunscreen with birthday money. Not the French kind, that was too expensive. But a good brand, SPF 50, broad spectrum. I kept it in my desk drawer with a lock I'd installed myself, buying the hardware with allowance money and following YouTube instructions. When Lily asked to borrow it, I said no. Seriously? She laughed, that dismissive laugh I remembered too well. It's just sunscreen. Buy your own. Mum, Elena won't share her. I'm allowed to have my own things, I said, appearing in the doorway before my mother could respond. I bought it with my money. It's mine. That's not negotiable. My mother opened her mouth, closed it. Some script she'd expected wasn't happening. I wasn't angry, wasn't apologetic, wasn't emotional at all. Just certain. That's very selfish, Eleanor, she said finally. Maybe, I agreed, but it's mine and I'm keeping it. What? Could she say to that? I'd stated a fact, owned it, refused to argue about whether the fact was right or wrong. The conversation ended. Lily tried to pick the lock once. I'd anticipated that, had bought a better lock. She gave up after 10 minutes, frustrated. Why are you being such a bitch about this? She hissed at me. I'm not being anything, I said calmly. I'm just keeping what's mine. If that makes me a bitch, then everyone who owns things is a bitch, including you. She had no response to that logic. I was 14, 15, watching the years unfold with the strange, doubled vision of knowing what was coming and choosing differently. I worked ahead in school, taking advanced classes, building the transcript I'd need. I tutored for money, saved every dollar in an account my parents couldn't access. I was polite, respectful, unassailable in my correctness, and completely, utterly distant. My mother couldn't fight me because I gave her nothing to fight. No rebellion, no drama, no angry outbursts she could frame as immaturity. Just quiet, relentless self-determination. It drove her crazy. Why are you like this? She asked me once. Like what? So closed off. So cold. I'm not cold, I said. I'm focused. There's a difference. You used to be sweet. I used to be compliant, I corrected. That's not the same as sweet. I was 15 when Derek Martinez sat next to me in biology. Same dark hair, same California eyes, same opening line. You have interesting freckles. I'd been waiting for this moment for 3 years, had played it over in my mind 100 times, all the different ways I could respond. Thank you, I said politely, and turned back to my notes. I'm Derek. I'm new. From California, marine biology interest. Stanford hopeful. Yes, I know. He blinked. How did you? Small town, word travels, welcome to class. I'm Elena. Want to study together sometime? I study alone, but thanks for the offer. I felt his confusion like a physical thing, felt the script he'd expected diverging from reality. In another life, I would have said yes, would have fallen into easy conversation, into friendship, into hope. In this life, I knew better. He tried again the next week. There's a study group forming. You should join. I work better independently. Come on, it might be fun. I'm not here for fun, I'm here for grades. That's kind of intense for a sophomore. That's kind of my business. He backed off, started sitting elsewhere. I felt nothing but relief. By October, I watched him notice Lily. Watched the inevitable unfold exactly as I remembered it. Except this time, I wasn't part of the equation. This time, I was protected, separate, untouched. They started dating in November. My mother was delighted. Lily has such good taste, she said at dinner. Derek is wonderful. From California, you know, very ambitious. He seems nice, I agreed neutrally, cutting my chicken. You don't mind? Lily asked, suspicious. I know he asked you to study. I don't mind at all, I said honestly. I hope you're very happy together. And I meant it. Not because I wished them well, but because I no longer cared. They weren't part of my story anymore. They were background characters in a narrative I was rewriting. The years unfolded. I grew older with the strange grace of someone who'd already lived them, who knew which classes to take, which teachers to impress, which opportunities to pursue. My GPA stayed perfect. My test scores broke school records. I worked constantly, tutoring, summer jobs, building my resume and my bank account. My parents watched this transformation with confusion. You're too serious, my mother would say. I'm preparing, I'd reply. For what? The future. You're 16. You should be enjoying yourself. I am enjoying myself. This is what I enjoy. She had no response to that. I was 16 when I bought my first car. A used Honda, reliable and practical, paid for entirely with money I'd earned. The day I got it, I drove to the DMV alone, took my test, passed, and drove home with my license. You should have told us, my mother said. We would have helped. I didn't need help. But we're your parents, and I'm capable of handling my own responsibilities. The car meant freedom, meant I could work farther away, make more money, control my own schedule, meant I wasn't dependent on anyone for anything. I was 17 when I applied to Berkeley. Same program, same scholarship opportunity, but this time, I was ready in ways my previous self hadn't been. I had savings, had financial literacy, had a plan that didn't require parental support. The acceptance letter arrived on the same Wednesday, 5 years later. California, my mother said, holding the letter. Yes, full scholarship. I leave in August. We need to discuss. There's nothing to discuss. I'm 18. It's paid for. I've saved for living expenses. It's happening. My father looked up from his newspaper. What about state university? Not interested. Berkeley is better for my goals. Elena. My mother's voice held that edge. You're being selfish. I'm being strategic, I corrected. There's a difference. What about your family? What about them? I looked at her directly. You'll be fine without me. You've been fine with me here, but invisible. Geography won't change that. That's not fair. It's honest. And honestly, Mum, I don't think you'll miss me. You'll miss the idea of control, but you won't miss me. The silence that followed was profound. Lily, now a senior, dating Derek, planning their state university future together, spoke up. You really don't care about any of us. I care about myself, I said. That's not the same as not caring about you. I spent years waiting for you all to care about me, to protect me, to see me. You didn't, so I learned to do it myself. And now I'm very good at it. You're cold, Lily said. I'm healed, I corrected. But there's a difference. I left for Berkeley on a clear August morning, drove myself in my Honda, everything I needed, packed efficiently into the back. My parents and Lily stood on the front lawn, a picture of confused disappointment. I waved once, friendly and distant, and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I watched my childhood home disappear, felt nothing but peace. California was exactly as I remembered it, and completely new. The campus, the ocean, the opportunities, all familiar. But my experience was different. I wasn't running from wounds this time. I was walking towards strength. I thrived. Joined research labs immediately, published papers, networked with professors who saw my dedication. I dated occasionally, casually, never seriously. I kept my heart protected, but not closed. Learned the difference between vulnerability and weakness. My mother called sometimes. I answered sometimes. Lily and Derek broke up, she said during my sophomore year. I'm sorry to hear that. She's devastated. That's difficult. Don't you care? I care that she's experiencing pain, I said carefully. But I'm not responsible for fixing it. And I suspect you're calling because you think I should feel guilty somehow. I don't. You've changed so much. I grew up. That's what people do. You grew cold. No, Mum. I grew boundaries. You just can't tell the difference. The calls became less frequent. I didn't chase them. I graduated summa cum laude at 21. Accepted into a doctoral program at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Marine biology, Arctic ecosystems focus, cold waters, long winters, midnight sun. Alaska, my mother said when I told her. That's even farther than California. That's intentional. You're running away from your family. No, I said. I'm running toward my life. There's a difference. And honestly, you're not part of that life anymore. Not because I'm angry, because I'm done trying to earn love from people who've made it clear I'm not their priority. Done setting myself on fire to keep anyone warm. Done. That's cruel. That's honest. And I'm not apologising for honesty anymore. I moved to Fairbanks in August, a month before my 22nd birthday. The sun stayed out until midnight. The air smelled like pine and possibility. My apartment overlooked mountains that turned purple at dusk. I bought expensive sunscreen for fieldwork, though I rarely needed it in the Arctic climate. SPF 100. Kept it on my own shelf, in my own space. Nobody borrowed it. Nobody asked. It sat there, a symbol of everything I'd reclaimed. I was 23 when I published my first major paper. Arctic marine ecosystems and climate change impacts. It made waves in my field, got attention from research institutes and conservation groups. My father called, not my mother. My father. We saw your publication, he said. The university sent a press release to the alumni newsletter. Did they? Your mother wanted me to tell you she's proud. She could tell me herself. You know how she is. Yes, I said I do, which is why I don't particularly care whether she's proud or not. Her pride or disapproval doesn't define my worth anymore. Elena. His voice cracked slightly. Are you happy? The question surprised me. I looked out my window at the mountains, at the endless summer light painting everything gold. Yes, I said simply. I really am. That's good. He was quiet for a moment. I'm sorry we didn't see you, really see you, when you were younger. The apology landed strangely. Too late to change anything, too sincere to dismiss entirely. I appreciate you saying that, I said, but I don't need it anymore. I stopped needing it around the time I realised I could see myself. That was enough. We talked for 30 minutes, the longest conversation we'd had since I was 12. It didn't fix anything, but it closed something. I was 24 when Lily appeared at my door. No warning, just suddenly there on a June evening when the sun refused to set. Hi, she said. She looked older than 23, tired. Her skin was still beautiful, but something in her eyes had dimmed. The golden glow had faded into something more human. Hi, I said. Can I come in? I let her in, made tea. We sat on my small balcony, watching the endless light. This is beautiful, she said. It is. Mom says you're doing well, publishing papers, making a difference. I'm doing my work. She was quiet for a long time. I don't know why I came here. That's okay. Derek and I got married. Did anyone tell you? I saw it on social media. Congratulations. We got divorced last year. I'm sorry. Are you? She looked at me with something like desperation. You seem so fine, like nothing we did ever mattered. It mattered, I said carefully. It mattered so much that it nearly killed me. But I survived it. And then I chose differently. Chose to protect myself, chose to know my worth without needing anyone else to confirm it. That sounds lonely. Sometimes, I admitted, but loneliness is different from emptiness. I'm alone. I'm not empty. There's a vast difference. Lily was quiet. Then, I'm sorry. For what, specifically? The sunscreen. She laughed, hollow and broken. All those summers, I knew you needed it. I knew you bought it with your own money. I took it anyway because I could. Because Mom let me. Because it made me feel powerful to have what you needed. I know, I said. You knew? I understood exactly what it meant. I understood that it was about power, about making me small so you could feel big, about the casual cruelty of taking without asking and calling it sharing. And you forgive me? I don't need to forgive you, I said. I released it, released you, released all of it. Forgiveness implies I'm still carrying it. I'm not. She started crying then, quiet tears that fell into her tea. I didn't comfort her, didn't reach out, just sat with her in the endless light, letting her feel what she needed to feel. I wasted so much, she said eventually. Then, don't waste more. How? Start being honest with yourself. Start protecting yourself. Start choosing you, not the you Mum wanted, not the you that Derek needed, the actual you. Figure out who that is. What if there's nothing there? There's always something there. You just have to be willing to look. She stayed that night, sleeping on my couch. Left the next morning with a hug that surprised us both. You're stronger than I thought, she said. No, I said. I'm exactly as strong as I needed to become. I never saw her again in person, but we texted occasionally. Brief updates, surface-level pleasantries. The relationship we should have had all along, cordial strangers who happened to share DNA. I heard through my father that she went back to school, got a degree in social work, started therapy, stopped calling my mother every day for validation, built a life that was hers. I hoped she found peace. But her peace wasn't my responsibility, never had been. I was 25 when I bought my first house. Small cabin outside Fairbanks, near the research station. Solar panels, wood stove, space for the dog I adopted the following month, a husky mix named Aurora, who ran with me through snow and summer both. I stood on my porch in July, watching the midnight sun paint the mountains gold. Aurora sat beside me, panting and content. My life was quiet, productive, mine. I thought about the girl I'd been. 12 years old, standing at a screen door, waiting for permission to exist in the sun. Waiting for someone to protect her. Waiting for someone to say she mattered. I'd become that someone. Inside, in my bathroom cabinet, the sunscreen sat mostly unused. Such a small thing. Such an enormous symbol. I'd learned the difference between what was given and what was taken. Between what was shared and what was stolen. Between burning and choosing shade. Between dying and choosing life. My phone buzzed. A colleague, asking about collaborative research next month. I replied quickly, professionally, with the quiet confidence of someone who knew her worth. The sun hovered above the horizon, eternal and patient. I wasn't waiting for anything anymore. Not for validation, not for permission, not for someone else to see my value. I'd learnt to see it myself, and in that seeing, in that quiet, constant act of self-recognition, I'd found something bigger than revenge, bigger than justice. I'd found peace, the kind that didn't need anyone else to witness it to be real, the kind that glowed from the inside, steady and warm, the kind that no one could take, mine.